Hi, everyone. I'm Desiree Sadoff, and welcome to part one of the first episode of The Digital Divide, a podcast series that introduces you to some of the more pressing issues we face as digital media consumers regarding cyberculture, online identity, and technology. For this episode, I interviewed 5 people.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
My name is Sammy.
Hi, my name is DJ, and I'm a man.
Hello, my name is Emma.
Hi, my name is Lance, and I am excited to be interviewed today.
All of which have varying levels of how they treat the online world, coming together for your listening enjoyment to discuss online identity. So stick around while we discuss pressing issues within the digital divide. Starting off strong, let's get a basis of where everyone is regarding social media usage. Using a simple metric, the Likert scale. I asked each of the interviewees, what would you say your social media usage would be on a scale from 1 being rare and not very often to 5 being a lot and like every minute? And here are the answers.
Definitely a 5. Some context. I'm Gen Z, so I feel like my entire generation would answer either a 4 or a 5.
Ooh, honestly, I hate to admit that it's probably at like a 4 right now. The way that social media has been lately, like that instant gratification everywhere, and like stories are everywhere. So I don't even have to like going on Instagram, I don't have to look through feeds. I could just look at the stories. So whenever I need something else going on in the back of my mind, I am like doom scrolling.
I would say like a hot 4.8, 4.9. Because I think a solid 5 would have to mean that you also post. Like you're fully invested in the social media community. So for me, the wall is I don't post anything, but every free second I have, I'm on YouTube Shorts or Instagram or TikTok.
Question. I wouldn't say that I'm a 5, where it's like I spend every waking moment on social media, but I'd say I'm pretty up there in comparison. But it's not necessarily that I'm like posting every minute. It's more like I scroll on Twitter, scroll on TikTok, scroll on Instagram, you name it. It's like there's a lot of short form content, so without thinking, you just go on social media and hang out there for a good maybe half an hour before getting out of bed.
This is a stunning question you've asked. 1 being not very often, 5 being all the time. Is there anything lower than 1?
No.
There's not. Let's go with 1.
As Emma predicted, out of our 5 guests, 4, all of which that are Gen Z, considered themselves a 4 out of 5. This is interesting because DK was such a polar opposite compared to the rest of them, and he is the only millennial within this group. However, this was just the start of the questions, and because even though he does not use traditional social media, he still has a minor online presence with his very niche social groups. When online, people are able to shape their identities into whatever they want and become who they want to be perceived as. This line of thought led me to asking my next question. Is your username your name, a nickname, or something else, and why?
Ooh, my username actually it's my name and something else, I guess. But it also depends on the application that I'm using.
I keep it pretty close to my name. I think it's just makes sense to me. I don't post too often, so as a whole, I don't have an issue with it being personally tied closely to my identity.
It is something else because I would like my accounts to remain anonymous. If I were to use a nickname, all of my nicknames could be somehow like if a friend saw that account and they saw like just like a nickname initial and they paired it with a picture, I feel like they could tell it was me versus if it's just this random obscure phrase and like an odd picture, like it gives me anonymous vibes.
It's a variation of my name. came up with it when I was like, I don't know, maybe teens, pre-teens, very early, and I've just stuck with it. Yeah, it's a variation of my name with things added to it, but it's not my name one-to-one.
It would absolutely be something made for a multitude of reasons. Number one, for anonymity purposes, I just would not want my name to be out there. Number two, to be perfectly frank, it's a lot more fun to do something else. There's almost, call it the nerd that I am, whatever. There's almost a creative sort of role play element to it. Like you're creating a second persona, right? There's a ton of psychological reasons why people do it. But suffice to say, it's enjoyable enough that I would just want to come up with something that I think is, in quotations, cool or even funny. And then I would just be that.
As you can see, I had quite a mix of answers, with Emma trying to stay anonymous to the degree that her username has no identifying features, to Lance, who objectively keeps hers as close to her full name as possible, and everybody in between. It piqued my interest and made me question why. Why do we separate ourselves from our usernames online, and what leads a person to that solution? So, I took a deep dive into that phenomenon and found the article, From Counterculture to Cyberculture, Virtual Community Discourse and the Dilemma of Modernity by Soren Matty, where he goes into detail regarding how this computer-mediated communication can be skewed. In this article, he stated, taking advantage of the fact that identity is computer-mediated communication environments can be hidden or manipulated. Social actors can explore and express unknown facets of their personalities. In the process, emotional involvement can be deepened and expressed abilities and personal freedom enlarged. It's a little bit wordy, so I simplified it into, as people are expressing themselves behind the screen, they can change the perception of themselves and their life, even expressing things they would never express in face-to-face interactions. And this could lead either people into becoming more emotionally invested in their online personas with their new expression and freedom, or quite possibly do the opposite. How these individuals feel regarding this issue is very diverse, but I couldn't stop my mind from racing when I heard about how they handled it and would handle online personas. Like DK said, he would have a whole persona and truly embody it. Looking further into this led me to both the terms anonymity and pseudonymity. Anonymity meaning one that is anonymous, while pseudonymity is most simply defined as the use of a different name from your real name. Both of these terms are actually quite relevant to this conversation because our guests use a form of anonymity mixed with pseudonymity depending on the situation or persona they want to perceive online. I found some research in the article, Anonymity, Pseudonymity, and the Agency of Online Identity by Emily Nagel and Jordan Frith. Throughout their article, I found a bunch of different reasons on why people tend to not use their real names on places like Reddit, where they're treated differently if they remain anonymous, compared to different social media sites like Facebook, where they really do push you to use your real identity. However, the reason I brought this to light was because of their conclusive research, where they say, the option of not using real names online allows people to control what they reveal about themselves and who they reveal it to, opening up possibilities for identity exploration, exhibitionism, and connections with people who share different interests without being limited by the social factors that routinely shape everyday life. This is really important because the way I approached these interviews was really narrowed down to me asking them questions along this line, and I even asked them the next question that was really, really tied to this type of research, asking, would you consider your face-to-face identity different than what you portray online?
Oh, 1,000%. I always feel that way, and again, this is something specifically that I have been trying to work on for maybe like the past year, because I'm so obsessed with how I am perceived, like in real life and online, but especially online to all of the people that have known certain versions of me, you know what I mean? And like, or people that I don't want to have that sort of access to me, but it's like, but they do have my social media, but I don't want them to have that access to me as far as like when I'm posting, like, I don't know, seeing who I am and being able to judge that. Like I'm literally allowing them to judge me. And even though I know that these people won't say anything to me, it's like I'm obsessed with that thought because I grew up online and seeing everything, all of the judgment, and that like putting yourself out there is like an invitation for people to comment about you. And there begs the question of, okay, well, if you don't want these people seeing your stuff, then why do you let them still be on your social media? And see, that's the question I've been asking myself.
Oh, 100%. But I think that's because I'm practically a ghost online. But yeah, no, like I think if I did post more, I think I would be along like the Brittany Broski approach where like there really would not be a difference. Just because I find it difficult to not be 100% myself.
Nope, I'd say it's pretty
one-to-one.
Yeah, pretty one-to-one. Like if like I talk about my other stuff that happens to me in real life on the internet as well, not excessively nor like with at any point like being able to harm me or anything, but I'm pretty one-to-one with how I portray myself on the internet along with how I am in real life.
Yes. I guess I'm like I'm a little bit of a hater. Like if I don't, especially if it's like I don't know, like I for the most part I do just watch, but like if I see like a girl and she has like a 15-gallon fish tank and she got a huge fish in there, like trust me, I'm gonna comment like this is so sad for that fish. So I guess I would say the internet like it definitely like I don't think it's just a me thing. Like it allows me to say what I'm thinking versus maybe in person I'm not gonna say that. Like it just looks like all of my thoughts uncensored basically.
Actually, no. Like not at all. Because I tried to make the cyber persona match. I think I'm pretty much the same. Really and truly, if you took, DK the man outside, in the real world, and just changed it to the online persona name, I understand completely the functionality of how those personas are portrayed and the methods and reasons of doing it. But just because I only have the one, and because of the fact that it is moderating specifically, so it's maintaining status quo, it's keeping it's resolving conflict. There's not really so much of me trying to create as it is just apply my real life skills into a situation that they have a need for, right? They need somebody to manage people.
As we touched on in the article with Nagal and Frith, my guests are exploring their identities outside of their social norms in such a diverse way. Everyone has a different answer to how they treat their online identity compared to their in-person one, with Sammy who treats it similar to his daily life but keeps himself safe with his digital literacy skills, to Emma who feels more open to express her concerns online and be more expressive, and Lance who feels like if she did create and post more content, she would be open sharing herself online because she doesn't feel the need to be anything but her authentic self. And then you have Mickey, who struggles with allowing people in and letting her real life seep into her digital world. And finally, DK, who objectively makes his cyber persona match himself in every way he can. Let us remember, as we navigate the digital realm, our identities unfold in a variety of ways, painting a vivid portrait of who we are and who we aspire to be. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of our exploration into identity and cyberculture. Join us for part 2, where we go more into how cyberculture shapes an online experience and learn the ways that it is virtually impossible to live without the influences of the internet. I am your host, Desiree Sadoff, and I continue to implore you to learn more about the digital divide.